Everybody say, hey, hey. Everybody say, hey, hey.
I really appreciate all of you being here today, and I hope this is just the beginning of conversations that we have moving forward. Potentially, I hope for a long period of time, because the kind of agenda that we hope to implement will take time, and hopefully not one term, but several terms, to get as much done as we hope to do. I'm happy to have you all here today, but I do not want this to be the only time that you come to visit. And of course, I'll be out to visit many of you, and in fact, we're going to be having an event in Springfield, sort of a just getting back and visiting folks kind of event in Springfield. We have one in Worcester the end of March. The snow has slowed us down. This is really the first week that we've had a full work week where everyone has been here. We announced on day one, first ever, a deputy treasurer of the Office of Economic Empowerment. And what is that office doing? Firstly, we didn't just talk about wage equality. We are instituting wage equality. We are leading on wage equality. And why is that important? It's not just a woman's issue, and it's definitely not a white woman's issue. In fact, people like me bring the averages up. For African American women, around 60, you're going to get a bunch of different statistics. If it's 60 cents or 62 cents on the dollar, what difference does it make? It's wrong. For Latino women, 50 cents on the dollar. And by the way, this isn't just for women. When it comes to immigrants, when it comes to minority groups, it's men too. But the women are even at a lower rate. And this is an economic issue for our state, but it's also wrong. So this is something that we, in every hiring decision we have done in this office, we are making sure our workforce is diverse and that wages are not only equal, but will continue to be equal. Because what the studies have also shown is that you can have two people get out of college or get out of voc school or get out of high school and start at the same salaries, and then all of a sudden it becomes unequal, and that compounds itself over time. So what do you have to do to keep that from happening? You have to attack the institutionalized and cultural barriers that cause that. And so we believe that it's a shared empowerment, and that's why our office is called what it is, that we also empower people to empower themselves.
Right, my first question is about financial literacy.
Yes.
Let's talk about the banks. We are familiar with from the time where we had a lot of community banks really connected to the communities. We have some example, I'm talking about the Asian community, people having maybe $20,000, $30,000 in a saving account. The same person may be not paying on time a credit card, and that person goes to the bank and looking for a loan or to buy a car and deny because where we are from, we are not used to that credit. So what is your plan to address, this issue, financial literacy, educating people, mostly the immigrant, on those issues.
So we are, again, under the Office of Economic Empowerment, we are reconstituting the Financial Literacy Trust Board. And in fact, and that board is going to, again, be reflective of our communities, people of different backgrounds. One of the things that is very clear, and I believe you've heard me talk about it before, is how so many immigrants don't understand the financial systems here, the banking systems here. So our financial literacy programs are going to be community-oriented, they are going to be schools-oriented, they are going to be veterans as a special group. In fact, we're about to have a conference called Operation Moneywise for veterans. It's March 21st, is it? And it's a full-day seminar for veterans coming home and how, because they are very much plagued, and that covers people who are immigrants, community, all different types of veterans. And we are just getting up and running, and we're looking at best practices, not only in Massachusetts, but across the country.
The financial literacy, do you have programs that are targeted to kids, to children? Because I
Yes.
think it is very important to teach them early what to do with their money, to be smart with their money.
So, the kindergarten savings plan, part of that is not just creating aspiration for college or for technical training, because it can be used for either actually, but only either. We want to teach financial literacy around having a savings plan. So that's a vehicle for us to work directly with with the children and their families. But also, I will be meeting with Mitch Chester and working with DESE, which is the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, on ways in which we can embed financial literacy skills into the curriculum. We can't have unfunded mandates. It just doesn't happen. But that's also why I have schools and school superintendent on my group, so that we do things that we are able to get into the local level, because we do need to work through the schools to reach the kids. When it comes, and then we'll work our way up to the high school level where there are more complex economics being taught. But our goal is to have kids graduate from high school understanding debt, very important, and communicating with them in a way that they communicate. So mobile apps, Twitter, Facebook. That's why we have people like Chandra back there, and why we have younger people involved in that. I mean, I don't learn through apps. I learn through reading a book. I'm old-fashioned, but yes, it's my vision. When I look back on my career, one of the things, and I've said this for a long time, if we have created a financial literacy program that meets the needs of everyone who would not have that opportunity otherwise, I will feel good about what I've accomplished in life. And so that's why I'm putting so much thought into all the different things. And I think the college savings plan, starting with 5 and 6-year-olds, having a college savings account is a tremendous vehicle for teaching financial literacy.
Treasurer, you mentioned the tax services that keep a percentage of the taxes.
Yes.
And I have another example. It happens a lot in our community that people goes to cash their checks, services of check cashing. And
Yes,
then,
we know about those.
And that's definitely something that is not good. Is there anything in your office?
Well, particularly with, and I have had a lot of experience with the Latino community and understand the Latino community has some unique cultural feelings about banks and savings and how, and it's very cash oriented. And one of the things we want to do with the Latino community is help them find safe ways of saving their money, what kind of services to use, and to develop more confidence in the system. For example, the Latino community was profoundly impacted by the subprime mortgage crisis. They were victimized a great deal because a lot of them didn't understand the structure of mortgages and how, and felt you could put a certain amount of money down and then you owned a home, and didn't understand that if values change, and also the whole idea of local real estate taxes, of water bills, of all the things around homeownership in this country. And so many of them lost their homes. I mean, slammed with a large water bill when they thought they were going to use that for their mortgage. That kind of example. So that is why I'm saying we have people who are working with us, who are identifying things that are unique to each community and developing programs to work with that community. And then, you know, I've had experience with this before the treasurer's office. I'm involved in a group that every couple of years does a policy examination for the city of Boston. And the last one we did was around, we were trying to develop a program that would also be research-based around ways in which to mitigate obesity in immigrant communities in the city of Boston. We were working with Barbara Ferrer and Mayor Menino when he was still with us. But we wanted impact. And so what we did is we went out to the communities first. Everybody's doing programs in the schools. How are we teaching kids to eat more healthy? But people in their lives have two jobs. They're worrying about, they don't have time to think about exercise, eating healthy, and buying the right kind of foods when you're talking about the immigrant communities. So what we discovered is if we could give some people the opportunity to develop a vocation and have a job that was in a health area, we were not only helping them find a career, but then it was giving them the opportunity to be healthy. And so we actually did a pilot program. This year because we worked with Tufts University, the results will be coming out, but we transformed, it was about 15 women's lives. They are now exercise instructors and nutritional experts. We actually paid a stipend for people to participate. They're getting registered, but it's also changed their families. And so I realize that you can go out there and you can preach to people, but unless you give them, in the context of their lives, the ability to access and learn this information and incorporate it, it doesn't work. So we're bringing that orientation, in particular, the Latino community, the Haitian community, Cape Verdean communities, where the cultural differences impact the decision making. We get that, and so that's why we have to have all of those communities represented in the work that we do.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. This will be the first of many conversations we have. We do plan on doing more of these on a regular event basis, and not only having you here, but seeing you out in the communities when we come to visit. So
I actually have a community coming in at 4 o'clock for their awards, and I'm one of the presenters. Happens to be my own community, the Jewish community. But they're actually for those of you who don't know, I'm the first Jewish woman to be elected statewide in the history of the Commonwealth. Wow. And at my swearing in, we sang a prayer from our religion that has never been sung in this building. And it's just a blessing of the day of being able to reach that moment. And so it's exciting for me to be giving an award here to the Jewish community, people in the Jewish Community Relations Council, which is a great example of a advocacy organization. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, advocating on those issues.